Hello everyone, I'm Emma and I'm your storyteller for today. Tonight's story is called Terence the Wren and this is chapter 5. Once they were on the other side of the stream, the two friends journeyed on through reeds and bushes, through puddles and mud, until they reached a drier land and a forest canopy returned. On they hopped together, chatting about this and that. Len, it turned out, was quite an interesting fellow, and he'd certainly led an interesting life. The stories he told were packed full of adventure and lots of narrow escapes. It seemed Len was smart and brave, and he knew how to quickly get out of a fix. A good choice of companion for a little wren who hadn't yet found his wings. When they reached a clearing, Len hopped up to a particular oak tree he seemed to know. It was a very large oak, and had clearly been there for many years. Len explained oak trees can grow for hundreds of years, and so this one was probably at least that, if not older. 100 years seemed such an enormous amount of time to Terence, who himself was only a matter of weeks old. "Wow," said Terence, "that tree must know so much. So is that why we're here, so we can ask it about my new wings?" "Oh, bless your cottons," said Len, who had no idea what that actually meant, but he'd heard others say it, and he liked it, so he was saying it too. "No, Terence, the tree isn't going to talk to us. If trees could talk, and it would be useful if they could, because they'd know a lot, but if they could, they might tell everyone secrets. So perhaps that's why they haven't been given a tongue," chuckled Len to himself, as he proudly flicked his own tongue at a passing fly and gulped it down. "So why are we here then?" asked Terence, eager to know how he was going to find out about his new wings. With that, Len said, "I'll show you," and he took a step forward and knocked at a little tiny door hidden away at the base of the tree. You might have seen these doors yourself before and not realised what they were. But next time you're out in the woods, have a little look at the bottom of oak trees and see if you can spot a little hidden doorway just tucked away at its base. It might look like a little tunnel under the roots of the tree, or a little fairy door. For certain, some fairies live in these too, and so if you're very quiet, perhaps you'll find one of those. But you must be so quiet and still, otherwise fairies use their magic to close the door and make it look like part of the normal tree. Nothing happened after Len's first knock, so he stepped forward and knocked again, and this time he gave a little cough, as if to announce himself. He looked very proper, thought Terence, as he watched Len purposely place one arm behind his back and stand tall, as if about to greet somebody of great importance. Len stepped back. "He'll be here. Give him a minute," he said to Terence, and so Len and Terence waited patiently. In a moment, there came a scraping, scrabbling, scratchy sound from up above, like claws scattering and clattering against the bark of the tree, and before long down scampered a scurrying squirrel. "Hello," he said brightly, in an almost chatty fashion. "Well, hello," said Len. "Pleased to make your acquaintance as ever." "To what do I owe this pleasure?" asked the squirrel. "Well," said Len, "I'm hoping you can help my friend here, what with you being all-seeing and all-knowing and all-wise and that." "Oh, Lenny," said the squirrel, joshing, "you flatter me with such words. Of course I'll help." "Are you the friend, I presume?" said the squirrel, talking to Terence. "What can I do for you?" "Well," said Terence, I'm looking for some help because I need to find my proper wings." "Proper wings, you say?" said the squirrel, scampering around behind Terence as if to take a look at his current wings. Terence felt he were being inspected as the squirrel looked him up and down and around and about. Do you mind?" asked the squirrel, gesturing to Terence's wings. No, go ahead," said Terence, a little perplexed, but assuming this was all necessary. The squirrel lifted what there was of Terence's wing and tried to stretch it out for a proper inspection, but in still being so fluffy and therefore difficult to hold. And in being very unused to being opened up, and therefore in no way flexible, Terence's wing shot back, closed in on itself, and slipped straight out of the squirrel's hand. "Oh, I see," muttered the squirrel, before repeating the process on the other side. Terence's other wing had much the same response, and so the squirrel carried on, muttering things and making lots of and ah sounds as he carried on inspecting. The squirrel carried on walking around and about and looking up and under some more, and then some more round and about and some more up and under, until Terence felt by now the squirrel probably had a better idea of Terence's wings and body than Terence had of himself. "I see the problem, I think," said the squirrel. "These wings won't fly." "Yes, exactly," said a slightly exasperated Terence. "I need to find my proper wings." And then Terence explained how he'd met these wise creatures who had explained this to him, and what had happened before with the cat and the tree. The squirrel listened on with great interest, and when Terence had finished he said, "I see," some more. "So, do you think you can help him, poor fella?" said Len. "I would have, but I don't know much about wings, and I certainly don't know where he can find a new set, so I was hoping you might know." "Well, this is a tricky one," said Squirrel, and then more gravely he said, "I've not seen a case quite so severe as this before." Terence didn't know what severe meant, only that Squirrel's tone sounded serious, and so he worried this wasn't good. "Nope, there's nothing else for it," said Squirrel. "Whichever wise creatures you consulted were wise indeed, for these are not your proper wings, and you are correct in your deduction that with these wings you will not be able to fly." "So what can I do?" said Terence, looking very forlorn. "Where can I find new wings? I can't hop about like this forever." And for the first time since he'd hopped off on his own, he felt a pang of sorrow and regret at having lost his family. Until now, the excitement and adventure had been exhilarating, and this had overwhelmed him, leaving no room for sorrow or for missing anyone. But now, not sure how he could ever learn to fly without his proper wings, Terence missed his family, and especially wanted the comfort of his mum. He sniffed as he tried to hold back a tear that had started to make its way down his beak. "Oh, now come here," said Len, as he hopped over and put his arm around his friend. "It'll be all right. Just you wait and see. We'll figure this out, won't we, Sam?" as Len looked up at the squirrel. Yes, of course. We'll find a way. There will be a solution. All we need to do is find it." And with that, the squirrel scampered into the door of the oak and gestured to Len and Terence to follow. And that's the end of tonight's story. Night night. Sleep tight. See you soon.